Hey guys, it's Ben, and today I'm going to be walking through the Tomghost Try Hack Me challenge. This is an easy rated challenge. I've just solved it. It's quite a simple one, so this won't be too long of a video. I'll copy the IP here. What I'll do is let's quickly get the terminal set up nice, and I'll zoom these in so you can see it. I just want to clear. I am going to sudo vi etc hosts. I'm going to add this to my okay, I got my password wrong twice here. I'm going to add this to my host file just so I don't have to keep on using the IP. So let's just call this tomghost.tryhackme. There we go. I'll put that out there, nice, and I'll get all of these cleared. So I'm going to make directories for recon, exploits, and nmap. I'm going to do a basic nmap scan and output this to the nmap/initial directory. And we can see it's returned back 4 ports. So there's this AGP13, which I'm not too familiar with, and there's this possibly a HTTP port here, we don't know for sure. There's DNS, there's a domain port, and there's an SSH service. So we're going to do a bit more of a thorough nmap scan now. So I'm going to change this to thorough.txt. What am I doing? There we go. And I will make sure I'm sudo because I'll need to be sudo for this one. I'll do tac sv service enumeration, tac sc default scripts, tac o for operating system. I'll just do a verbose scan. And I should have done the domain there, but that's fine. It's not the end of the world. So we saw there was this HTTP proxy. While the script's running, I'm just going to go and see what is this. We know there's this possible HTTP proxy. There may not even be a web page. Let's go and investigate before this scan finishes. So .tryhackme, and it was on port 8080. It's not on the port, the default port of 80. And we can see this does load. There is a web server, and it looks like to be the Apache Tomcat application running on the back end. We've got a version number here, so we could go look up for vulnerabilities for this version, or a bit of a hint is the Tomghost. I'm aware of this Tomghost vulnerability. No, sorry, yeah, this Ghost Cat vulnerability. So if you hadn't seen that before, you could do some research. You may stumble along the Ghost Cat vulnerability. I was looking at this right up here. This is a nice explanation of it, and it sort of goes into the detail of how it actually works. I would recommend looking at this right up after watching this video. It explains it. Anyway, so what this vulnerability actually is, if you search up Ghost Cat, it'll probably be. So this is CV 2020-1938. It basically allows you to read files on the host, and whether that's like config files, it allows for file inclusion. Basically, I believe in some circumstances it allows for uploading files, but you can basically read the sensitive files which may be on the box. The port scan's finished, and we can see that it is telling us it's Apache Tomcat, and then Apache Tomcat also uses this JServe protocol, Apache JServe, and that's on port 809. You'll use both of these when you send out your payload, and you could look up on ExploitDB. You could try find out how you do this. Metasploit has a module for this, so if you go Metasploit, not Metasploit, MSF console, there we go, and we'll search for Ghost Cat. Wait till that loads. We search for Ghost Cat. We find there's only one module there, and it's a Apache Tomcat AGP file read. So we're going to use 0 to use this module. I'm going to clear just so it cleans it up a bit. I'm going to show options to see what information do I have to supply. So it's by default got the AJP port and the actual Tomcat port set already, so we don't need to change that. The file name is this webinf webxml file. It's suggested to use this. Perhaps there's going to be some useful information in there. If you wanted to look at other files, you could obviously change this to your liking. I'm just going to stick with this file. And we'll set the R hosts to be Tomghost not hack the box, try hack me.thm, and we'll run this, and it returns. We've got this this XML file. What was it called? The web.xml in the web inf directory, and we can see it contains some credentials. We don't know where these credentials, what these are useful yet. We can obviously try and test out and sort of play around. We did find an SSH service running, so perhaps it's used there. I'm not too sure. So what we can do is just, I'll put all the findings in this directory. So let's just findings.txt or credentials. We'll insert this, and we'll put the skyfuck there. So I'm going to copy this password. Like I said, there's only we've obviously got this DNS port 53. We want to try use these credentials. So my first place I tried was SSH. So username skyfuck Tomghost. The IP or the domain will be tomghost.tryhackme, like so. Yes, I want to accept the host key, and it asks us to enter the password. So I believe I got that pasted, and we're in. So we can see that those were the SSH credentials, and we're in. So we can have a bit of manual enumeration now. We can see, look, there's these credential.php and the tryhackme.asc. So that's definitely something of interest. There's no user flag here, so what about if we go up, see what other users are in this box, what other folders are in the home directory? We can see there's this Merlin folder. We can cd into Merlin. We can do ls tac la, and we can see, look, there's this Merlin. Merlin has got a file called user.txt. We do have read permissions over it, so we can cat out this user.txt, and we've got the first flag. So if you go back to the box, you can enter the first flag there, right? So we've got the user.txt flag. We now want to escalate to root somehow. The other bit of information we had from before, which we didn't investigate, was in this skyfuck directory. So there's this credential.pgp, and there's this tryhackme.ask. If you just use file credential.php, we can see this is data. And if you do tryhackme, what is this going to show? ASCII text. Okay. What I did do is I set up a HTTP server to download this, because I want to get these files on my Kali box. I've got much more features on the Kali box, so I'm just going to download these files. So it's on tomghost.tryhackme. It's going to be on port 8000, and the first file was credential.pgp. So yeah, we got that one, and then we can change this to be tryhackme.ask or ASC. We can have a look at these files now. Just to compare, if you use the file command on here, it tells me, look, this is a PGP private key. So this is a key used for encrypting or possibly decrypting data. So if we just actually cat this out and have a look at it, we can see it's the usual private key format. So what about the credential.pgp? If we use the file command now on the Kali machine, it's saying this is PGP encrypted data, right? So I want to use this. I want to decrypt this. You can do some research if you didn't already know, but you can search up how do you decrypt a file with PGP. So you can use GPG. This is a tool, the PGP tool in Linux, and you need to import your private key into your keychain or into your user profile, and you use the GPG and then import flag, and then you supply the private key you want to import. So you do that, and I already have it there, so let's just find out one sec. Get rid of PGP keys, private keys in GPG. I just want to get rid of them to show something. So delete secret key. GPG. Delete secret key. Is that it? And then I expect it's called try hack me. Yes. Yes. Delete key. Delete key. So I've deleted the key now, so it's not in my profile. Hopefully when I do it this time it will. So I try import this key, and look, it prompts me for a passphrase. So the PGP keys, the PGP private keys, are encrypted with a passphrase. So we can't import them straight away. What we can do is use GPG to John. So if you've maybe cracked zip passphrases before or whatever, you can use this GPG to John and then supply the private key you want, and then it will create a hash of the passphrase with the private key, and you can crack that hash basically. So let's do this PGP hash .txt, and if we cut out this PGP hash .txt file PGP PGP hash. Okay, it is there. So we've got the GPG hash there. So we can crack this with John the Ripper. So we can say John PGP hash, and then the word list I'll supply is just the RockU word list. So on my box it's located at user share word list RockU. I'm just going to tee the output of this into PGP passphrase.txt, and because I've done this before, it is not showing it. So how do I do it? Is it the tac? If you were doing this for your first time, you wouldn't get that error. It may take some time, but it would eventually crack. Now I've done it before, I can use this, and it's showing me the credentials. No, it's not. Yes, sorry, it's showing me the PGP passphrase, and that's the Alexandru. So now we should be able to import it, right? We should be able to go GPG import. We now have that PGP passphrase. We can paste that in there, and it's imported. Now it's imported, we can now decrypt this PGP encrypted data. So if you just cat this out before, right? This is the PGP encrypted data. It looks like nothing. It's nonsense, right? This is all encrypted. What we can do is GPG, and I may have to search the command up for this, and then decrypt, right? And then you supply the encrypted file, which is credential.pgp, and it will ask you for the password again. I'll paste the Alexandru in there, and it's outputted this passphrase, this Merlin, and then this big long password. So we've now got the credentials for the Merlin user account, right? So let's just, put this across here. We've got these two sets of credentials, and I just want to write the PGP credential. PGP passphrase is Alexandru. We've got the Merlin credentials. What I can now do is do su, change the user to the Merlin account, and we'll enter this password, which I think I got pasted. I didn't have it pasted. We'll copy this. I'll try this again. There we go. So that was the credentials to the Merlin user account. What we can now do is do some more enumeration, right? We've not found the credentials to root, and if you go to the root directory, we get permission denied. And if you look, we're not in any of the root groups. We still need to do another level of privilege escalation. We've gone to this Merlin user. Now where can we go from here? Basically, you can do some manual enumeration. You can look for SUID binaries. You can list the capabilities the Merlin user has to run files as sudo. So do sudo tac-l to list his capabilities of what he can run, and we can basically say Merlin can run as root without a password the zip binary, right? You can run the zip file. So you can go to GTFObins, and you can search zip, and we should be able to find a basic POC here we can use. So we've got sudo capabilities, so we can sort of read this and sort of understand it to some extent. I didn't a lot, so it looks like we make some sort of temporary file here, and then because we can use sudo, we zip this temporary file, and then we pass in this file etc hosts, and then we add these tac-t and tac-tt parameters, and then we eventually pop a shell here. So to be honest, I don't know the nitty-gritty details of how this works. I know we've got sudo privileges, so we can sort of bypass the logic in it. To work. So let's start off with making this temporary file. So mk-temp, so we'll make this temporary file, and we'll set it to this variable tf, and then we can run this next command. We'll use sudo with zip. We won't need to supply a password because we can see, look, you can run zip as sudo as root with no password, and eventually it should pop out a sh cell. So if we do this and then go id, look, we're now root, we can go into the root directory, and there's this root.txt. We can cut out root.txt, and then we've got the root flag here. Try hack me, zip is fake. So if we go back to the thingy, we've now got the two flags with escalated privileges and with obtained root. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. That's going to be it for tonight. See you next time.